Do you know of any people that are all heart, but not a whole lot of skill to back it up? Now, I'm not casting shade. I'm one of those people in a lot of different areas of life. If it comes to art, oh, I can't draw to save my life, but my heart's there. I wish I could. I've got the desire. I just have no artistic talent, at least not in my fingers. I've coached some football players that way, that had all the heart in the world, but just did not have an athletic bone in their body. Have you ever gone to a concert when your children were in elementary school and then listened to the school band or orchestra, if you could call it that? And you see these kids trying with all their might, but they might hit a right note by coincidence now and then. Now, it's one thing to be all heart and no skill, but flip it around. And what if you were all skill and no heart? Is that better? Is it worse? It's definitely different. Sometimes you'll see this among professional athletes who have all the potential in the world. That's what got them drafted. But they're kind of lazy, or they don't really care that much, or they've always taken their athleticism for granted to the point that they've never really worked hard at improving it. They lack what Kobe Bryant called the Mamba mentality. Now, if you have athleticism and desire, if you have hands that can do things and a heart that motivates you all the way through, now that's a match made in heaven. There's nothing you won't be able to accomplish. But when you only have one and not the other, something is falling short. It's with that in mind that I look at verse 37 and 38 of Doctrine and Covenants 18 and see a heart and a hand coming together. The verses say this: "Now behold, I give unto you Oliver Cowdery, and also unto David Whitmer, that you shall search out the 12, who shall have the desires of which I have spoken." And that we've talked about already this week, right? How do you spot an apostle? Well, they want to take upon themselves the name of Christ with full purpose of heart. If somebody's got a desire like that, there's a potential servant of the Lord if I've ever seen one. But keep reading, and there's another qualification mentioned here. It's interesting. Verse 38, he says, "And by their desires and their works you shall know them." So yes, search out the 12 that have these desires, but notice not just desire, look for works as well. Now put those two together, and I think you're seeing hand and heart. The hand is the works. I'm actually doing something, accomplishing things. The heart is the desire, what I want to accomplish, or the feelings that are motivating the works that I'm engaged in. Does that make sense? If so, think about the more common phrase, "By their fruits ye shall know them." Now the fruits, there's the work, okay? I'm doing it, and you can tell. And so if I'm spotting potential apostles by their works, whoa, they've done incredible things. But what about if it's by their fruits ye shall know them? What if there's no fruit through no fault of the farmer? Like there was a cold spell, an early freeze, something wrong with the soil conditions, hailstones or bad weather, whatever it is. And you look at the field and there is no fruit. And so you think, well, there must be a lousy farmer. And the farmer is there in tears. What more could I have done for my vineyard? Believe me, this failure was through no lack of desire on my part. I was trying, I was willing, I was working, but it just didn't work. Now think of that in terms of these two words. By their desires and their works, you shall know them. And don't just limit it to the apostles. Look at this among your children, among your friends, especially when you look in the mirror. And try to analyze and weigh both your works and your desires, your hands as well as your heart. And if there's ever only one of them, which one's missing and why? Let's think about that for a moment. We've often heard the phrase, "It's the thought that counts." And that's true, as long as there was an attempt beyond the thought, right? I tried and failed, but my intention was there. My heart was in the right place the whole time. In that case, great. It is the thought that counts, and that's all that I'm asking of you. You served a valiant mission, though no one joined the church because of your efforts. I saw the work you put in. I saw the righteous desires of your heart. That's on their agency. But there's no reason to feel less than on your side. Imagine for a moment if there's desire without work. That's what I've been describing so far. Maybe it's a matter of your efforts being thwarted by obstacles. In that case, I'll judge you based on your desires and not worry about the work. Now, on the other hand, what if it's dreams without determination? And my desires were there, but I never got around to trying to work. And that's a different story. For that, I will have to judge you positively for your desire. But I'll start to wonder, how deep was that desire? Because it never got off the couch. You didn't start moving and even attempting a work. Or if we flip the entire thing on its head, what about works without desire? In this case, I am working. My hands are there, thrusting in the sickle, but my heart isn't behind that thrust. I'm going through the motions. I'm succumbing to social pressure. I'm doing it because everyone else is expecting me to do it. And I may look anxiously engaged, but I'm not that engaged after all. That's more of a concern that I feel. And so I would hope it's not just by their works ye shall know them, but the desires that are motivating those works. The Lord will take both of those into consideration. And so my hope is that we give him evidence of both by which to judge us. He will speak to us in mind and heart. We will speak back to him through heart and hand.